Go to hell, I'm Jack the Killer. Hi, I'm Holmes and this channel is the Holmes area. In 1888, in the neighborhood of Whitechapel, England, at least 5 women were brutally murdered. Their common point was that they had turned to prostitution and occupation was prostitution, and the time of all these murders was at night and very late. Time is done. All these victims were characterized by deep cuts in the throat and damage and removal of internal organs. Jack's main victims were Mary Ann Nicholas aka Polly. Her body was found on August 31, 1888. She had 2 deep cuts in his throat and injuries to her vagina. The second victim of this case was none other than Annie Chapman is 47 years old. She was found dead on September 8, 1888. She also had cuts on his throat similar to Nicholas. Her throat was similarly cut, her stomach was opened, and parts of his organs were removed. The third victim of this case was Elizabeth Stride, nicknamed Liz Darris. She was murdered on September 30th, and the main cause of his death was the severing of a major artery. The fourth person to be killed in this case was Catherine Eddowes. The interesting thing is that Catherine was killed on the same day that Elizabeth Stride was killed. Her throat had 2 very deep cuts and her stomach was also terribly torn. The last and 5th victim of this case was named Mary Jane Kelly. She was killed in the morning on the 9th of November. She was executed in a much more gruesome manner than the previous 4 murders, with her heart removed. Before we go to the main subjects of this very terrible and mysterious case, thank you for activating the like, subscribe and bell. Jack's identity was never revealed, and for this reason, it has become one of the biggest anonymous crimes. There are many theories about who Jack was. Some said that he was a skilled autopsy and surgeon, because the injuries inflicted on the victims were done very carefully and skillfully. The murders were done with precision and skill that was beyond the reach of a normal person. Therefore, it must have been the work of a surgeon or an experienced autopsy. The main suspects of this case as murderers: Karl Feigenbaum, a German sailor who was executed for the crime of an elderly widow. The next victim was Francis Tumblety, a fraudulent and psychotic doctor. The next suspect is Aaron Kaminsky, who was accused of threatening the female members of his family with a knife. These theories were only a part of the many theories that were introduced to Jack, but Jack's identity was still not revealed. Jack's reason for choosing his victims is still unclear. But some possible reasons were suggested by experts and criminal historians. Social and economic situation. Jack was mainly the killer of women who had turned to prostitution and lived in the poor neighborhoods of Whitechapel. These women were easy targets for Jack due to their difficult living conditions and survival. It should be noted that Whitechapel neighborhood was one of the most populated neighborhoods in the country at that time, and it also had very unfavorable conditions, so it was a very good cover for Jack to escape easily after committing his murders. Hate or personal motives. Some theories suggest that Jack may have had personal reasons for choosing these types of people, such as hatred, lost love, etc. However, due to the lack of identification of the killer, this case remains one of the most mysterious cases without an identity. But in the next identity, I want to reveal Jack's identity, so be sure to be with me so that we can reveal Jack's identity together in the next video. What do you think about Jack? Be sure to comment for me. Reveal the most anonymous criminal cases in history with Holmes area.